Whoa, finally. All right, y'all. Your boy is officially back live again. I had to make up for the last live stream I did. The last one just looked really, really bad. I meant to do this earlier, but we kind of in the middle of a storm here, so I had to kind of like put it on pause for a little bit. Anyway, as you can see, your boy is celebrating 5 years of YouTube. 5 years. Anyway, I'm trying to do something real quick while I'm sitting here talking to y'all. Um, so what's going on tonight, man? What is going on? I've been trying to keep up with all the news. I dropped a couple videos today. I meant to make it one, but then it just became you know, two. But it is what it is. I feel like I needed to drop both just so everybody can kind of stay up to date on what's going on. And in case any of y'all missed it, um, I did talk about how I'm only gonna be doing like 3 videos per week, sometimes four, depending on how it goes with the content that drops. Um, I don't plan on dropping every day, but I definitely want to stay as consistent as possible, but like kind of have chill days in between, you know? So that's what's going on over here, man. I'm kind of like just slowing down a little bit, just not keeping it at a fast pace like I used to. Um, anyway, so I got the notification last night. Your boy officially knocked on 5 years. And I gotta say that's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. I've been doing this for a while now. And I've been very up and down about it over the last 5 years. Sometimes I've been happy with it, sometimes I've been kind of like, not so happy with it. But I'm having fun. I'm having fun. That's the most important thing is I'm having fun with it. And I believe as of this recording, I'm at least 370 no, excuse me, 397 watch hours from hitting 3,000. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. The main thing that I'm trying to focus on doing is just trying to um quality over quantity when it comes to making YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Like just focus on dropping better looking videos instead of, you know, pushing out so many just to have a lot of videos out there. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, like I said, celebrating 5 years. Don't have no drinks, nothing. Just me sitting here chilling, man, talking to y'all. That's the way I'm celebrating this thing. I think I might actually have like an invite thing. Um, just in case anybody else wants to go ahead and jump in. So yeah, 5 years doing this, man. And like I said, it's been a up and down ride. If there's any advice I would go back and give myself 5 years ago, I would have said, um, stream sooner. Like I would have said stream sooner because that's one of the things I wish I would have done. I think I would have put my foot on the gas on streaming at the same time I was doing videos. I think my channel would have got monetized a lot sooner. But since I was more focused on putting out videos and streaming, you know, it's kind of like one got there and then one's kind of playing catch up. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyway, um, I didn't have too many topics I want to talk about. I see one of the things that's been popping up is a bunch of clips for the what is it? I can't think of the top of my head. Fantastic for our first steps. I've seen we've got some promo clips of that. I didn't do any reactions just because I didn't want to waste doing anything 30-second wise. It kind of felt like a waste of time. So, you know, I was like, it is what it is. But I enjoyed the clips. They were cool. Though I'm not really like, I don't know. I'm curious about it, but you know, give me one. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the clips for Fantastic Four First Steps. So yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm not really interested in all that much. On a scale from 1 to 10, is I'm like at a 6. You know what I'm saying? I'm like at a 6. I'm just not super interested to see that movie. And maybe by the time we get closer to it, my interest will definitely change. But right now, I'm at a 6 when it comes to that film. So I'm hopefully it'll do good. The one thing, honestly, I'm just getting tired of is every single time you turn around and there is a new Marvel movie that drops, everybody says the same thing. Oh man, Marvel's back, Marvel's back, Marvel's back. And I'm like, no, it's not. Marvel's still dead in the water, okay? It's gonna take at least, I mean, a string of movies, okay, for Marvel to get back on top. Y'all said not y'all, but I hear it all the time. Every time Marvel um people come out of hiding, same thing. Marvel's back, Marvel's back. So to me, it just gets really annoying because it's like it's gonna take more than this um project to get Marvel back on, to get Marvel off the ground. So, be that as it may, man, it's gonna take more than just getting this movie off the ground to get Marvel, back in the great, back on top. So that's one thing. Um, the second thing, of course, being Superman. I'm looking forward to this movie. As soon as some tickets go on sale, your boy is getting his. Okay, no if, no but, no ands about it. I cannot wait. Um, I know. I think June 12th they're supposed to go on sale, and I'd be surprised if there's any left. Just because I think there's gonna be people who are gonna be interested in seeing this movie to praise it, and there's gonna be people who gonna want to see this movie to throw it under the bus. You understand what I'm saying? So I definitely think it's gonna be something to see, and I'm looking forward to it. You know, so for me, like I said before, Superman first, then Jurassic World Rebirth, then then you got Fantastic Four First Steps. So that's how I'm looking at it when I'm looking at these movies. But yeah, so that's how I'm looking at it when I look at these movies. Those three are like the big summer hit movies. I'm surprised none of them changed the date. I would have put money on it that these movies would have changed. One of them would have changed the date. Maybe not Superman, but maybe like maybe like First Steps or Jurassic World, because we already had Jurassic World. These three films, and the first one I liked, the last two I didn't. So I would have bet money that that movie would have changed the date. But the fact that they're all so close together is crazy. So it's definitely going to be some it's definitely going to be some stuff going on with these three movies coming out so close together. But I definitely plan on getting tickets to all three. Like I said, even though Fantastic Four First Steps is not one of the most highly um it's not one of the ones I'm highly interested in. I'm hoping that it's going to be something good. As far as so as far as the other two, like I said, Superman definitely gotta see it. Jurassic World Rebirth definitely want to see it. I saw something on Twitter. It looks like James Gunn is actually gonna have something going on at San Diego Comic Con. Let me see if I can find this out for y'all, man. Let me see. San Diego Comic Con. I just saw something about this. Let's see here. This should be something interesting. But let me see if I can find something on here. And I know he has something going on with Peacemaker. But let me see if I can try and find this news. It looks like he's gonna have something going on with uh San Diego Comic Con this year. But I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking, I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, here we are. I think this is it right here. So you should be able to see this. Should be able to see this. Let me see if I can bring this up. Let me see if I can bring this up. Hopefully it works out. He usually always have issues with bringing screens up sometimes. But let me see if I can bring this up. So it looks like it's a go. Okay, perfect, 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 perfect. So it is a go. All right, so yeah, as y'all can see right here, DC Studios is headed to Comic Con, and we already know one big reveal. So let's see here, because I'm interested in this news. James Gunn and John Cena just revealed one of DC Studios' big previews coming at San Diego Comic Con this summer. The duo sat down for an interview with Entertainment Weekly about Peacemaker season two, teasing as much as they could about sequence shows ahead of its release on August 21st. They promised that there are they promised that there is a new dance scene to take place of the opening credits from season one, and even said that this is one of the previews fans will see at Comic Con in July. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Peacemaker season one started each episode with a tightly choreographed by robotic dance numbers. Okay, I gotta be honest with y'all. I'd never seen season one as a Peacemaker, but it looks like they're gonna have something presented at this year's um Comic Con, which is good because originally I believe the story was that they weren't going to be at Comic Con, which made absolutely no sense at all because San Diego Comic Con, I believe, comes in probably like a week or two after um Superman, or maybe a couple weeks after, right? So it made no sense for me why they wouldn't have anything to present it because the movie's already going to be out. So the main thing they could probably always talk about is like a sequel or something, right? Or whatever James Gunn decides to do with the future of the DCU. So, you know, so it makes sense why they would have something presented. Anyway, outside of that, yeah, that is the big news going on. DC, um, yeah, that's the big news going on with DC. Um, yeah, so like I said, the main thing is a lot of people have been, taking shots at James Gunn Superman, and like I said, I've always said keep an open mind. Am I fans of the suit? No. But I'm not gonna let that stop me from seeing the movie. I really want to see David Corenswet do his thing, Rachel Bronson do her thing, Lex Luthor do his thing, the villains, the heroes. I want to see everybody do their thing. The main thing I want them to do is make sure that the focus is on Superman because this is Superman. I know we got crypto. I know he's been in a lot of marketing, but still, the focus should be on Superman. So, I don't want them getting too far off, you know, the beaten path here. Um, but yeah, that's what's going on here. We're talking Superman right now, and like I said, I hope this movie works out. I did do a video earlier today talking about how a lot of people have been toxic when it comes to the DCU and this new Superman film because it's like everybody wants this thing to fail, and it makes absolutely zero sense at all. Why? Because at the end of the day, if this thing fails, if the DCU fails, I can see Warner Brothers selling it, and whoever buys it, they're just gonna keep it on the shelf for years and years and years. Obviously, they don't look at it as a valuable IP because of the simple fact that the Superman film did terrible. So it doesn't make sense to me why um, Warner Brothers would, you know, why Warner Brothers would, you know, go through all this trouble. Why would they sell it, and then some other company is gonna keep it on the shelf? Like they need Fans need to show up and support this. Fans need to show up and support Superman. I get it. Y'all wanted Henry Cavill. I did too. But unfortunately, Henry Cavill didn't get hired on to play the new Superman. So, it is what it is. The man got strung along when it came to the old Warner Brothers. And, obviously we are where we are. So that's that. Um, I'm looking forward, like I said, to this movie to see what this movie is gonna do, how this new Superman is gonna act as far as just like I get it. Everybody saw Blues is cool at the beginning of the trailer, and it's like that's the only thing everybody could pay attention to. Then everybody was picking apart how he was covering his face when the fire from the creature was coming at him. It's like everybody nitpicky and trying to pick this thing apart, and even some people have gone back and tried to compare it to the Man of Steel, and then or BVS, and it's like that Superman had his time where he was covering his face, where he was getting hit with bullets, or covering his face where some fire was coming at him. So it's like it's not just this Superman; it's pretty much all the Superman have done it, you know, before. So the one thing I think people don't understand is that This is a young Superman. This isn't some veteran Superman. He's young. He's learning his way around, you know, trying to be Superman, but also being Clark Kent. And people, I think, are not understanding that, he's going to go through some ups and downs. You understand what I'm saying? So, anyway, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things. So, anywho, give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. So, yeah, like I said, man, Superman. We got to root for this movie. We got to show up in droves to the theaters because at the end of the day, um, if this movie fails, it's going to be a strong pivot in a different direction going forward. I don't think James Gunn's going to lose his job, but it's going to be a strong pivot. The backlash is going to be swift, though. Yo, what is going on, man? Thank you for jumping in, man. I know it's late. Depending on who you ask, it's late. At least where I'm at, it's at least 10, almost 10:30. I meant to do this earlier, but it was storming out here, and weather kind of got bad, so it is what it is. Anyway, like I said, we gotta show up in droves to support this new Superman because at the end of the day, if this thing does very well, then obviously James Gunn has another script already in play. I think he said the next script he's going to have is probably going to be something original, so it's not going to be anything that is probably going to be coming from the comics, which I'm pretty sure he's going to have some type of inspiration coming from the comics. But I'm interested in what this new Superman is going to do. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, after that, you got Jurassic World, which is another movie that I'm highly interested in seeing. Just looking at the trailer and everything, I feel like it gives me the vibes of I feel like it gives me the vibes of the Jurassic Park movie. You know what I'm saying? It feels like they're trying to take it back to basics. And that's what I hope that they are focused on doing. You know what I'm saying? Because the last Jurassic World films, the last two, I didn't like. I didn't like the one in the mansion. I didn't like the one where they brought back the legacy characters. I don't even remember the name of the last one. Um, so, hopefully things will be better with this new one. I think if this one does terrible, I think they'll probably shelve the Jurassic World movies for God knows how many years. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're gonna have to keep making them if nobody's really interested. Now, of course, the biggest elephant in the room is the Fantastic Four First Steps. Like I said, on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm at a 6 when you talk about my excitement for that movie. Simply because I've just never really been a big Fantastic Four fan. And I'm curious about how this new Fantastic Four family is going to um, be. Obviously, some of the stuff we've seen Pedro Pascal say and do recently over the past couple weeks has been very questionable. Obviously, him going at J.K. Rowling, and then the stuff he was doing with that stunt stick or whatever, and the fun stick he had, it looked like he was at a concert. So yeah, it's been some questionable things. But I'm trying to be positive about it, even though I'm not very curious. Not curious, not very interested in the movie. I still want it to perform well. I still want it to perform well. You know what I'm saying? I just think people need to get off the bandwagon of saying every 5 minutes Marvel's back when a new movie comes out because it's gonna take more than just this movie. All right, back again. So yeah, Fantastic Four First Steps. I'm really hoping that this movie does well. People need to get off the bandwagon. I'm saying Marvel's back every time a new movie drops because of the simple fact that it's going to take more than just this movie to get Marvel, you know, back on top. And I was watching somebody else's stream, and they were saying that, and they were saying that, you know, Marvel went through a fad where it was on top for a while, and then it fell off. And it's true. Marvel went through a fad where it was on top for a while, and then it started to fall off after Avengers Endgame. And I feel like if it's already down, there's nowhere to go but up, right? So at the end of the day, there's a chance Marvel could come back. Could it come back stronger than it used to be? No, I don't think. And the reason being is that Marvel is just not. It's like things aren't planned out how they used to be. When you look at how it was from the first phase, probably with this phase four, Marvel had everything mapped out. Now here we are, and Marvel is just struggling to, get things off the ground again. Marvel is struggling to, you know, it's like they're rushing with this movie, and nobody's really all that interested in what they've got going leading into the new DCU. Or- So that's my main thing. Nobody's really interested in what Marvel has going on with this new DCU strategy, whatever they're trying to work out. They've obviously had to push back both their big movies, which I think is a good idea because at the end of the day, it's like the lead up to these big films, they really don't hide it. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like the best thing they can do, push them back, get these movies time because when you think about it, the movies just started shooting production and then they gotta wait. The movies are supposed to come out next year. No way that was gonna happen. Hold off, wait until the end of the year, like they're doing. Best idea. So I'm all for that when it comes to the MCU. Just hold off on the movies. Don't be so you're gonna push them out. Get a game plan first, get a storyline going before y'all push these movies out. It makes no sense to be in a rush to drop these movies, because fans are already kind of on the fence with the MCU and everything that y'all been doing. So it makes sense to kind of hold off, So I'm all for them waiting. I'm all for them waiting. So end of the year of next year is when we're gonna get Doomsday, and then the following year, Secret Wars. For the main thing is I can't believe, yeah, what up, Toxic? I still can't believe that they actually decided. I still can't believe they actually decided to push out both of these movies at one point, like almost back to back. It made absolutely no sense why they would go in that direction to try to push out both movies back to back. I knew one of them was going to get pushed back, and eventually they pushed both of them back. It makes logical sense, but you know, Marvel is going through a phase right now where it's just like nobody's high on the bandwagon. And I think this would be the perfect time for DC to step up with a kind of different direction because that's one of the other issues. With Marvel, you kind of already know what you're getting. And I think Marvel needs to change the sauce. We've been getting the same thing for years and years and years. So it's like people already know what's up when you look at Marvel. And I think it's time for them to kind of change direction. Maybe even go in a much more serious direction. This one actually no. The one that was on my computer is obviously still built in. It's trash. This one is Elgato face cam. I got it from Best Buy, I think for like 130. There's one they actually have that is like it's a little bit longer, same thing, but it's like 300 bucks. So yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, I couldn't keep using my old camera. It was getting on my nerves. But this is where I think it's a perfect time for Warner Brothers to step up with DC and get their head out of their butts and deliver some great product. They got to start with Superman. Obviously, I get it. Nobody's really, some people aren't really excited about this movie. And it's a little disappointing because obviously, everybody wanted Cavill back. I did too, but that's not going to happen. So it's like everybody's taking this thing apart. They're watching the trailers. They're like, when he jumps up and he screams at Lois, he's looking all bug eyed, similar to how the creature did. The I forgot the name of the Kaizu, the huge robot, or not the huge robot, but the monster, whatever. It's like people are taking this new Superman trailer apart. Okay. And I cannot wait to see this movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going in to bash it. I'm going in to hopefully enjoy it. I just don't want it to be super stupid. And I think that's one of the main things a lot of people have pointed out is that this movie could possibly be super stupid. I still ain't even going back and watch the third Guardians of the Galaxy film. I've seen the first two. I liked the first one, didn't like the second one. But, I guess James Gunn has a style. Now, he did come out and say that this movie isn't going to have as many jokes, I guess, as the past films did. I know he's kind of like teetering between, trying to make it a serious movie, but also trying to add some comedy to it. My main thing is I just don't want the movie to be overstuffed. I don't want this movie to have some big multiverse thing going on just yet because it's the first movie that we are getting the Superman in, and it just needs to be focused on him and what's going on in this universe, in this world. So no multiverse stuff yet, but where this kaiju came from, I don't know. There's a toy with a little alien robot named Joey, and I'm kind of worried. I don't want none of that crazy nonsense happening right now because of the simple fact that we still early on in this Superman world. It's the first outing, as far as we know, and I just don't want this thing to get too crazy where he's already, fighting off different monsters in different universes and all the other stuff. I do kind of wonder who's gonna be the big bad though. Are they gonna have like a Dark Side? Is it gonna be who's the other famous Brainiac? Who's gonna be the big bad of this universe to start off? I would probably go, I don't know, maybe Brainiac, and then maybe bring in Dark Side at some later point once you get the other heroes established. Because for whatever reason, this is called the Justice Gang, not the Justice League or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. It's whatever James Gunn has going on. We just gonna have to wait and see. But I'm curious about this movie. I can't wait to see what James Gunn does, and I'm hoping it's gonna be good because Warner Brothers needs to win. I've said this plenty of times. Super, not even Superman fans, but just DC fans need to win it all together. So we just gonna have to wait and see. We're gonna have to wait and see. We're getting closer and closer, and that's another thing with me, man. People have been talking about this movie for months, and I'm gonna try and get their opening night. I'm gonna try and get their opening night, but people have been talking about this thing for months now, and it is just kind of gotten annoying with just all the waiting, everybody dropping videos, everybody picking it apart. Like I'm just ready to see this movie now. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ready to see this movie now. So that's that. As far as any other big news going on besides the Marvel movies being pushed back, Superman coming out, you got Jurassic World coming out. That's really about it when you think of the big news going on when it comes to these movies. Um, like I said, I did talk about earlier why I'm slowing down on YouTube a little bit. So I won't be doing videos every day. I'll definitely be doing videos Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, live streaming on Saturdays. Only reason I took advantage of the night because I'm off work. So I was like, screw it. Why not go ahead and do a stream? But yeah, so that's what's going on over here. My last stream I did sounded and looked like crap, so I had to end that one really fast. Here's something else I did want to talk to you about. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all, like myself, are still currently waiting to get your hands on that um new Ice on 3 comic book. I'm not sure when that thing is even supposed to go up for shipping out. I don't know. Obviously, I'm still waiting, but that is something obviously I've been waiting for months now. I think I put the order in back in February, and it's already finna be June, and we still ain't got it yet. And I've actually started to find myself, slipping when it comes to the Rippaverse. Like I really haven't even been paying attention to a lot of stuff that he's been dropping. I haven't been going over to Eric July streams. I did know he did have the Saints and Sinners comic book coming out. I kind of thought about getting it, but then I was like, I don't know. I don't want to waste money on something I'm probably not gonna be really interested in. I know it's a collection of short stories that he has some of his friends, talking about, but at the end of the day, the only one I'm really interested in is the new Ice on 3. But, I guess I just have to wait and see when he starts, pushing that out. Still ain't got a tracking number or nothing. So maybe he'll start delivering that thing in June. One of the things I did want to say about that company is I feel like if it's going to take this long to get the company, the comic books out to people's hands, he probably should have just kept the focus on one comic until he had enough supply to meet the demands to get the comic books out at a good time. You know what I'm saying? Because February and it's already going to be June. It's like sometimes I'll be forgetting that I even ordered the damn thing um, unless unless I see something about it on social media. That's the only way I'm going to remember. Other than that, I've been completely out of my head. So yeah, it is what it is. I just don't find myself as interested in the Rippaverse as much as I was probably like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Started to really fall off. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But like I said, you boys 5 years on this platform. I think that's a pretty big deal. A pretty big deal. Um, Super happy about it. Like I said, I am. This is a long thing. This is a long term thing. This is a long game. To anybody that wants to get into YouTube, this is a long game. This ain't something you can just do for a few months or a year and think your channel gonna blow up. Some people do do eventually blow up and they get a lot of people subscribe or they get a lot of people that are you know views, all that. You know what I'm saying? My channel unfortunately doesn't get a lot of views, but it still doesn't take away from me enjoying this and continue to do it. So, I just it's something I stick with. It's something I stick with. But, it's just it's a long term thing. I've been doing this for 5 years and it's crazy to even think about it. When I first started, I was doing all my videos on my phone. And now here I am, with a small laptop setup. Man, I did hell no. Hell no. Nerd culture says you gotta sell your soul on YouTube to make it now. Man, I'm good. I'm keep that. I'm keep that, man. No, I just not my cup of tea, man. Definitely can't do that, man. And it sucks, man, because it's like you see so many channels that are just doing the damn thing, and you're over here just struggling to get views. And it's like I always tell myself, I can't force people to watch my videos. All I can do is just keep putting them out, hope for the best. So that's all I'm gonna keep doing, and just keep grinding it out. Like I said, as of this live stream, I believe I'm 397 watch hours from making partner. But it's like you got to have big views to really make any money on this platform. And unfortunately, I'm out here averaging less than 500, way less. See, yeah, I seen that. There's no way in hell I'm doing that. And their culture's toxic. Said now people pay for views and subscribers. Mm-mm. It ain't worth it, man. I've been hit up a few times about people who have been wanting to help me grow the channel, and they're like, we can help you do this and that, but it's gonna cost you some money. And I'm like, definitely not coming out of pocket to do that, man. I got family, kids. Even if I did have the money, I still wouldn't be doing it. But yeah, man, I've seen, some channels where people pay for views, and I'm like, it's not worth it because once you stop paying, everything shuts down. And it's just one big waste of money because you just gonna have to keep paying and paying and paying to keep this thing rolling. And once you stop, it's game over. So it's like I'd rather do it organically instead of, doing it that way. That's just not me. But it's hard. Being a YouTuber is hard because a lot of times you sit back and you sitting there thinking like, man, is all this worth it? You spend all your money on buying so much stuff to upgrade a bunch of stuff, and it's like, boom, is all this worth it? But yeah, I'm definitely not somebody who can be out here paying for views and doing all that crazy stuff because it ain't worth coming out of pocket for. Like I said, once you stop doing it, the views stop. So that's that. There really is nothing else I can think of to talk about. I was thinking of something maybe Power Ranger related because I seen something before a while back that I didn't do a video on, but I believe that Disney is going to be um doing something with the Power Rangers, which I think could be very interesting. Um, which I think could be very interesting. I am I'm interested. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. Um, I know there was supposed to be like, a movie coming out years ago, but it never moved forward. And then fast forward from that, I know that I think the contract or whatever that Saban, whoever owns the Power Rangers, everything is not going to be overseas anymore in New Zealand. It's going to be back over in the States now. So I think that's going to be pretty cool as well. That we could be getting some Power Ranger shots in the States. Some of the stuff they shot overseas did look good, but I haven't heard any new news on anything Power Ranger related since. Um, so I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed. Obviously, the Power Rangers have a huge fan base, and I think that Disney or whoever runs the company, whoever owns the IP, would be stupid not to take advantage. Um, I would love to see the comic book storyline, the Boom Studios comic book. I would love to see that comic book turn into an actual storyline, like an actual either animated property or a live action property. Of course, with Jason David Frank being gone, I think if he was still here, he would have been perfect to obviously play his character as an older version and then have somebody else play his younger self. I think that would have been cool, but obviously that's not going to happen. And we'll just have to wait and see what the direction is that Disney, whoever owns the IP, is going to have to go with the Power Rangers. I don't know if they're just sitting on it to just kind of wait it out because we just ended the last Power Rangers. I think either last year or the year before. I'm not sure. I can't remember exactly the year the last Power Ranger season ended, but you know, I want to see some new Power Ranger stuff. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I can go back and watch the old stuff and enjoy it, but I really like to see a little bit more mature Power Rangers and see how that would do, especially living in this day and age. I think having something a little more mature would work out. I went to go see the 2017 movie twice, and I thought it was okay. The only big issue I had was I wish that the Power Rangers would have morphed using like an actual morpher or a wrist something. When they morphed, they had to go stand on that platform, and I thought that was kind of whack. So be that as it may, it is what it is. Anybody coming in, please hit that like button. Like I said, your boy is 5 years in on YouTube, and happy to be here, happy to be doing this. But like I said, I'm actually trying to look up something right now and see if anything new Power Ranger related has dropped. I don't think there's anything new when it comes to the Power Rangers that has dropped recently. Um, you know, so I'm just gonna have to wait and see. I see somebody did post the old Power Ranger movie on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie on Twitter, and I was watching a little bit of that, and I was like, man, it's been so long since I've seen it. It's been pretty crazy. But yeah, I was kind of looking online to see if there's any new Power Ranger news coming out, and really there really wasn't anything new that is that's dropping. So hopefully they get some new stuff rolling soon. Like I said, I think Power Rangers is still a very, very, very valuable IP. You have a bunch of teams over the years. So Disney, if you're the ones that's currently running the IP for the Power Rangers, get something new going, a little more mature to fit this day and age. Of course, I think it's still gonna have some goofy stuff in it, but get something to fit this day and age. That's just my 2 cents. Anybody out there, basketball fans, the Oklahoma City Thunder are up 3-1 now officially on the Minnesota Timberwolves, which kind of sucks because I wanted to see Minnesota get their ring. And I definitely think we're going to be with a OKC versus Indiana Pacers NBA Finals. And I'm kind of like, shit, because I would have put money on it. I would have lost. I was hoping for the New York Knicks versus the T Wolves. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I definitely think it's going to be the Pacers and the OKC Thunder. And if I had to be a betting man, I'll put my money on OKC to win this chip, which would be pretty crazy. But anyway, getting back to the main news. Like I said, Superman jumping in less than a couple months. You also got Fantastic Four First Steps, and you also got um Jurassic World. And like I said, Superman, Jurassic World, Fantastic Four First Steps. That's just how I look at it. That's what that's in my order I'm looking forward to. I don't know about y'all out there, man, but. Uh, I almost forgot. We also got to talk about the Riri Williams Disney Plus TV show coming to Disney Plus next month. I really enjoyed that trailer. Okay, I know a lot of people bashed it. There are a lot of things to say about it. I think I can just go ahead and bring it up while we're sitting here talking. I don't know how it's gonna sound because I've done this before, and sometimes the sound kind of sounds really iffy, really really off. So let me see if I can bring this up real quick. But if you bring in Ironheart TV show. So I don't know how Disney messed around and forgot about this whole Ironheart TV show, but I'm actually looking forward to this. I think I'm probably the only person that is actually looking forward to this TV show, which is pretty crazy. Which is pretty crazy. There was a behind the scenes look of like this whole legacy thing I never actually got a chance to see. So since I'm sitting here talking to you, I'm just gonna check this out.
I got into
Let me see. Let me see. Just gonna check this out. Let me go and put this at the bottom. But let me check this out because I never actually did get a chance to watch this while we're sitting here. But like I said before, I think I'm like the only person who's actually looking forward to this because everybody else has just been throwing this thing under the bus. But I think Marvel kind of like took this away, kind of forgot about it. But it was like since they had the slate out, it's like people actually remembered that this thing was supposed to be dropping. So let's check this out.
Marvel as a kid, going to comic book shops. I was really big on X-Men and all of the offshoots, like X-Factor and Wolverine. When Ironheart came out, I remember the buzz around the industry. I was really excited. In 2016, Brian Michael Bendis, a really famous creative in the comic book world, created a character, Riri Williams. A lot of people think that she's a successor to the Iron Man legacy. But in the comic book, Riri and Tony had a friendship. He was kind of advising her, and eventually she got her own identity as Ironheart. It was really exciting for me bringing that character into the MCU and Wakanda forever.
The story of Ironheart is not a story about the mantle of Iron Man getting passed. If anything, it's the opposite.
It's really about her proving herself and achieving her own legacy.
I'm very excited to get a heavy-hitting introduction.
It was really great to have Ryan as an executive producer. He really helped with the storytelling of Ironheart. The comic books and Wakanda Forever did a really great job of laying a backstory for Riri and her origin story. In our series, we're telling the story of what happens the days after Wakanda in the formative years of the superhero.
What's cool about her is she's a bit disruptive.
You want me to be small, but I refuse.
Which really sets her apart than our show.
You might be a hero after all.
I love how this story takes Riri on a totally new journey. I want to build something undeniable, something iconic.
Riri, I see you, waiting to be acknowledged for your greatness.
I'm very excited about Ironheart. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be delivering these stories that people love so much.
Let's get to work.
So honestly, like I said, I'm probably the only person in this entire planet that is actually looking forward to this Riri Williams Ironheart TV show coming to Disney Plus. I don't know, man. I think it's just having some like that black representation, and we're getting a new Iron Man, sort of, which I think should be really interesting. Um, like I said, I don't know how Disney messed around and tucked this away and thought fans were gonna forget about it. Like I said, they got the slate, so obviously fans knew, like, hey, where's the Ironheart TV show coming out? But I think this could be something good. I think this might shock a lot of people. I don't know what it is that people don't find interesting about it. Maybe it's because you know she kind of is going to feel like a knockoff Iron Man. Obviously, because we already had Robert Downey Jr., who did a great job playing, um, you know, Iron Man. But I'm curious to see what she's going to do. And I'm very curious about this show. I don't know how many episodes it is. I have to wait and see. But too many people are downing. Too many people are downing it and saying, just how bad it's going to be, or how bad the trailer looks, or just a bunch of other stuff. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But anyway, I might keep the stream going for another 5 minutes and then go from there. Um, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff I wanted to cover, but I just kind of want to go ahead and stream since my last one was complete crap. And I just wanted to, talk to y'all, kind of celebrate my 5 years here, celebrate these 5 years. I cannot wait to drop another video. I know I said I'm going to wait, but I'm definitely kind of itching to look and see what other stuff is already out there for me to talk about. And I'm always grateful for everybody that watches my videos, that checks out my channel. Like I said, low views, high views, high views, low views. Thank you to everybody that comes here and supports it. For real, it means a lot. You have no idea. And yeah. So, like I said, when it comes to just, Marvel, they got to really work on a game plan again. You know what I'm saying? And try and get themselves off the ground. This is what I'm hoping DC really takes off with this new Superman film, because I think it'll light a fire under Marvel's ass and really show them that DC is back and they're not playing, because I feel like Marvel has gotten complacent. Maybe when DC first stepped up, maybe they thought, okay, this we finna have some competition. And then I think if DC would still be going great, they would have competition. But obviously, that's not how things worked out. And you look at where we are now, Marvel's been dominating for the last 10, 12 years, where DC has been sleeping and has been shitting the bed for over the last 10 or 12 years. So I'm, you know, geeked up about what we finna get with this DC universe. The one thing I do kind of have an issue with is the fact that what is the direction now? Because a lot of stuff that James Gunn had talked about us getting, I believe, like 2 years ago, we really haven't heard too much about it since. It's kind of all been sitting on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? So the only thing I know so far is Superman, Peacemaker, and I believe Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. You probably can throw Clayface out there as well, but those are the only three projects I know for real, that have already gotten off the ground. Superman, Peacemaker, and Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. So I do wonder about the sleep. One of the things I do like, I will admit, is the fact that James Gunn did come out and say that the TV shows and the movies are releasing, like everything you see releasing as is going to be the timeline that it's going to be in, at least for now. That's why he probably has to go back and retcon and change your stuff up, because it does get hard with each movie, especially when you look at Marvel. A lot of stuff had to get pushed back. A lot of stuff had to a lot of stuff was, being pushed forward, being pushed back. It's kind of a crazy timeline where like the actual timeline is like 5 years to the future. So it's like all this crazy things going on with Marvel. So to have this thing with DC where you're gonna have a straight movie after movie after movie and TV show storyline happen, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. So yeah, it's gonna be good for DC. Like I said, I did have the StreamYard link. If anybody wants to go ahead and jump in, um, try to get back to doing this on a regular schedule. I do have some streams already lined up for Saturday. I'm not really sure what the topic is going to be for Saturday, but I already got one lined up for Saturday, so I can't wait for that. But just trying to get into a habit of live streaming every Saturday, probably between 1 and 1:30. Depending if I'm up by the time I got off work, that's what I'm trying to do here. So I appreciate everybody watching, stopping by. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I really don't have too much to talk about anymore. So definitely make sure y'all like, share, comment, let me know all y'all thoughts. Like I said, I'm always grateful for everybody that stops by. I'm going to end the stream now. To anybody that watches just later on, thank you. As of this stream, I am currently 397 397 watch hours for making partner. Like I said, the main focus for me is definitely trying to put out quality videos, but at the same time, I do want to get that 3K hours and then eventually 4K. So thank you to everybody that's been supporting this channel. It means a lot. I'm going to end the stream and I'll catch you on my next one. Peace.